Happy holidays, entrepreneurs, and welcome to the Possibility Partners Holiday TV show. I'm your host, Ande Lyons, the Chief Possibility Officer here, and I love helping startups and early stage entrepreneurs launch, brand, and build their businesses without wasting a fortune or spending a lot of time. And you can find me here every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, sharing and delicious advice for entrepreneurial adventurers. And these are conversations with seasoned entrepreneurs, all sharing their best tips, tools, resources, and advice to help us all grow and thrive with our businesses. And it's not just their woohoo moments, right? It's the ruh-roh moments as well. And that's how we learn, and that's how we grow. And really, I see this platform every week as a place that we can all hold hands and jump out and do what we need to do with the spirit and support and acceptance for this entrepreneurial journey that we're on, which isn't always, an upside pop the champagne moment. There are times when we wonder, what the heck are we doing here? And this week, oh my gosh, we have the most wonderful person sharing her entrepreneurial wisdom with us today. It's a beloved Google Plus Hangout host who many of us just love and adore. It's the one and only Mia Voss of the Mia Connect Power Chat. Please say hello, everybody. And hi, Mia.
Hi, girlfriend. How are you?
Hey, girl.
I'm so excited to see you. And of course, hundreds have shown up to help celebrate you today and learn more about your entrepreneurial journey. You create such joy and excitement and laughter wherever you go and glow. And I'm just thrilled to have you here in the show today to share your entrepreneurial adventure.
You know what my answer to that is? I'm rubber, you're glue.
Absolutely. And of course, we have so many wonderful folks here. We have David Pipe and Nicole Levak and Dave Moore and Cheryl Deuce and Lainey Sullivan and Stepan and Sheila Hensley. I mean, the list goes on forever here, Mia. But first, let's talk about you. The spotlight is on you today, and we all would love to hear about your entrepreneurial adventure. We see you as this charming, engaging, phenomenal Google Plus Hangout host, but really you have some amazing stories and entrepreneurial adventures. So where were you in life when you first felt that yearning to have your own business, to do your own thing, to be out there fully expressed in the world?
Yeah, I'm a late bloomer. So and a reinventor, which I love. I love it that the first reinvention person that I really adored was Madonna. To be awesome, I just thought she kicked it hardcore. She's a little cray-cray, but think about that for the last 30 years. She's just keep changing, and so I've always I loved her model.
Yeah.
As well. I definitely didn't start doing anything entrepreneurial. I had been an office person for years, but I did make some shifts. I originally started out, you may not know this, I was an insurance agent. That was my first big job. And and I loved that industry, by the way.
Well, and also, you get some great skill sets when you're in that industry. They really train you for being out there, learning how to engage, how to just embrace the no's in life, right?
They do. You know what's cool about them, too, especially working in commercial insurance? I had started, that was accidental. I got a job as in high school, sometimes they give you that half-day job thing, and so they just stuck me in this insurance agency on this 16-year-old spaz, and I'm like, all right, I'll do that. And then by the time I was 18, I decided not to go to college and got my insurance license and was a commercial insurance agent until I was about 24 or 25. So, but what was cool is that I learned about all these really cool industries. I mean, I got to see this shows how old I am, the Cray supercomputer. Remember that was like the first ginormous one, and that was at the University of Illinois, so we got to go tour it. It was about as big as a house.
Wow. And you're right, and that's, whether it's banking, insurance, wherever you can go and start learning some wonderful skills, that's the beginning of an entrepreneurial journey, really. So then what happened?
Curiosity.
Yeah.
Then I got real curious, and I had a friend that had gone to New York City on an architectural internship. Went to visit him. I was 23, and came back and was like, that's it. I'm leaving. I sold everything. I liquidated my 401k. My poor parents, like, I'm out of here. I mean, I had been born and raised in Champaign, Illinois, and that's where I had been my whole life, and then just moved to New York City on a whim with no job. They were just ready to crap themselves. It was horrifying for them.
Well, but I'm seeing you like Marlo Thomas, out there throwing the hat. Here I am, New York City.
Yeah.
Here we go. I mean, you embrace life.
Mary Tyler Moore with the beanie thrown up. Hey, yeah, I did. And I got another job in commercial insurance when I was there. What was really cool about talk about appreciating where you came from, because it was a university town, I didn't know until I moved how ahead of the curve as far as technology and so forth that my little podunk town was until I went to New York City. I was like, man, we got some stuff going on. So I kind of felt like I brought a little bit of education for the New Yorkers too. Like, we've been doing that on our computers for years. So and worked with a company that was actually theater entertainment. So that was kind of cool too. And then I ended up working for another company that did they did a lot of commercials, so they did like a lot of modeling agency. So it was kind of exciting.
That was a very exciting time, and you learned so many great skill sets doing that work as well. So then what happened? Did you stay in New York for years?
I did. I stayed until 95. I went through a couple iterations. My last job that I had there was really cool. I worked for a company that did all the colognes and the lotions, potions, and bottles and packaging for Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works, Abercrombie and Fitch, and Bendel's. Bendel's, like brown stripe. So it was very exciting. By the time I left there, I was actually like a kind of not a buyer, but I was going and doing, like, we would go to like Bloomingdale's and see what they were doing that year. It was a pretty funky little. It was a cool job. It was like
very cool job, Mia, because you were learning branding, you were learning retail, you were learning packaging, incredible entrepreneurial skills that you were going to need for when you launched.
Yep. Then I met a boy in upstate New York, and I was really tired of New York. I was just shy of my 30th birthday, and I just decided, I'm gonna go to Colorado. The only time I've been in Colorado was when I flew through when I was 21, and I missed the flight, and I was stuck in Colorado. But other than that, I'd never been there. So we packed the car and did that drive across the country, and literally, I don't know if you've ever driven across country and gotten to Colorado, but
many times. So it's either Route 70 or Route 80.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. So you cross the Colorado border, you're like, woo.
Yeah.
There's maps.
Exactly. It's hours. You feel like you're still in Kansas, right?
Yeah, for about 3 hours, yeah. And then I have been here ever since. I originally moved to Boulder, and I love this state so much. I've never been anywhere like it. Big sky, it'll be 20 years in March that I've been here. So
wow.
So then I take that back on my entrepreneurial thing. I decided I was sick of corporate, and I bought a house cleaning business, and I ran it for 2 years in Boulder. I sold all my suits and all that stuff, and just was like a hippie in Boulder. And I had a team. I built a team, and I had a house cleaning business and that's how I learned more about design and stuff, was from that, Andy.
Sure, and how to recruit and empower and all of those important entrepreneurial skills, Mia, that you need. And so you had that for 2 years, and how did you know it was time to transition out of that?
It was great. I actually got to, I decided to move to Denver, and I got to sell it. I actually sold the business and sold the book of business, so that was kind of a cool, man, I'm learning stuff about myself. Holy crap. You get old, you just forget everything you've done,
At a certain point, seasoned entrepreneur takes on a whole new meaning. But I love that you sold it. I mean, that is a lovely completion, a lovely, bookmark into an experience with a business.
It felt like a good confidence builder for me to be able to say, one, my clients believed in me, and then to hand that off to someone, because you really are in a pretty personal space. So you have to learn to manage it as a business, but also help people feel comfortable on a personal level. But again, that's when I really learned about how buildings were designed and what works. When you have to clean something, that's when you figure out, like, why is there a big gap between the stove and the fridge? Like, why they design it that way? You kind of learn what doesn't work.
See, I'm just loving this story because it really ties into the topic today about how it takes years to be an overnight success. You can see this wonderful thread, and I hope everyone is really taking that and taking it into their own lives as well, and seeing how they too have had these little lily pad hops that have prepared them for where they are.
I hope so. I hope everybody's doing that. I'm like, I have done some cool stuff.
And so you sold the cleaning room, but
and accidentally I got hired by, I say accidentally, I got hired by, I had a friend who had been an architect, and I had helped him manage one of my bosses, this was back on Lotus 123, by the way, before Excel, helped him manage the budget for an architectural, for a renovation of his house on Shelter Island, by the way, off Long Island.
Yeah.
And so I'd always been interested in architecture, and it kept showing up in my world. And then I had a friend that had a position open as more executive, just executive assistant, an admin thing at a architecture firm. So that was '97, and I started working there. And then they started involving me in like the planning process at the beginning when the architects are bringing in their clients and they're going to the city and they're putting the plans together. So I learned to read plans. I learned how to do what are called as-builts, which is, do you know that one?
Yep.
After a building is built, for those of you who don't know, it's basically how it was actually built. There's how it was designed, and then all the changes that happen when it's under construction, and then there's as-built, how it was actually built. So I learned how to take a lot of the changes and put that in there. So it was all just this accidental thing.
Yeah, but it all had a purpose. And what did you like about that side of the business? What was it about the construction?
I'm not sure. I always loved why am I forgetting? The Ayn Rand book.
Atlas Shrugged?
No, the other one about the architect, about Howard Roark.
Yes.
The Fountainhead.
Fountainhead, beautiful.
Fountainhead. And so I don't know where it ever actually came from, but I love Fountainhead, and so I was always fascinated with design, how things are built. It's nerdy, but it's just always there.
That's what every entrepreneur is doing. They're building a business in different ways, shapes, forms, with different colors and ingredients, etc. But that's what you were doing. And so, did you put up your own shingle as in the construction industry?
Now too. Yeah. Sorry, I feel like I keep jumping in. No, I ended up. So that was '97, and then I had been in the industry with a couple different companies. And then in 2001, there was a bit of a downturn here in Denver, and the company I was working for, I had one of those aha moments, honey. I was working as an executive admin assistant, and there had been a big cut. They cut a bunch of people, and I happened to be in the executive meeting when they were cutting people. That was the most upsetting thing I've ever seen. It was like being involved in a bloodbath, and I came home from the drive, and I didn't believe in the manner in which they were going about it. I saw that there were people that were being cut that shouldn't be, and I ran out of gas on the way home from the drive. It was really far away, and so I was sitting by the side of the road and had these aha moments, and I called my husband and was like, dude, I'm quitting my job, by the way. Poor thing. Called the boss, and I'm like, I cannot be a part of this. But I did not have any, luckily I had him as a safety net, but I didn't have anything planned. And once I let that go, Andy, is when the next opportunity came, which was the architects I had originally worked for called me and said, hey, you know what, you're really picky, we know, and you type fast. Do you want to come and do punch work with us?
Wow. And you said what, Mia?
I said, what's punch? But sure.
And you said yes, right? I'll figure it out later.
Yeah, I did. The tough thing about this was 2001. The tough thing about that, though, was 9/11 happened a month later.
Oh, boy.
And it was very devastating for me because I'd been in New York. I lost my friend Vinny Princiata, rest in peace. He was one of the 343, the firemen, and I was not right for about 6 months, but that actually helped me too, because then I just dug into the work that they were giving me.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And then you became a 1099 or
Yes, ma'am. My very first 1099. It was pretty cray.
And how long were you a building inspector? I mean, that's what you got into essentially, right?
I still am, actually.
Yay!
It's just when I trade this thing out. Oh, I wish I had it in here. I have this awesome. I'll post a picture of this wood hard hat that's so kick-ass.
Oh my gosh, that's great. So Mia, I just, before we go on to the topic today, I just want to chat more about, you got on to Google+.
I did.
Because there you were inspecting buildings, when a certain economic downturn happened and life as you knew it changed, right?
Yes, yes, honey. That was the transition as well for a lot of you guys, and you may have heard this story before. 2009 happened. It happened a little bit later for me because I was at the tail end of it. But man, Andy, I was hand over fist busy until 2009, and then it stopped abruptly. And the lesson learned from that was that I had all my eggs in one basket.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, we get so excited because the money's pouring in, the clients are pouring in, everything's working and flowing great. We forget that we really need to always be investing in our profit to keep us sustainable for when things go like this. And sometimes we have to reinvent ourselves again, which is what you did. How'd you get on Google Plus, darling?
You know, that one was accidental. There's a gal I always attribute Shauna Coronado to. I love her. She does a lot of cool gardening stuff. And I saw her speak at a TEDx in 2011 or 2012. And I had a radio show here in Denver. I sort of recreated. I created the Mia Connect. I got into a women's group here. I had to reinvent. Mm-hmm. And somebody came to me with a radio show because of the women's group, and then I was like, man, I don't think this is it for me. So I saw Shauna speak, and I went to her website, and I saw her doing this Google Hangout with Chris Brogan. And I was like, what is that? That's awesome. That was 2012. And I went and quit. I had another epiphany moment. I was on the job site, and I had heard this voice that said, that's not your brand, quit it, the radio show. Mm-hmm. And a month later I started, not the Power Chat, but just doing...
the Mia Connect. Mia, why did you call it the Mia Connect? Because that's a very powerful name.
Oh, no. You know what it was? Because I was connecting people through Crave Denver, which was the women's networking group. Mm-hmm. But I also loved that I had this very male-dominated construction world and this, female-dominated thing. And I was like, I need something right in the middle. I need it unisex. And so I was like, I'll just call it the Mia Connect.
See, that's perfect. I just want to say, again, entrepreneurs, look at the different lily pads, look at the different touchstones that Mia had along the way to help create this wonderful outcome. So she got into Google Plus, really wasn't sure how, she just knew it was going to be great and started to build her community. Why did you choose infotainment? Because all of us hosts have our own little stream that we like to flow in. How did you choose infotainment?
That one I had to go through a couple iterations because a lot of the shows that I saw were, very serious and content heavy and pretty dry, and I kind of struggled with that a little bit of should I be that way? Then I'm like, F that. I'm just gonna be. It has to be fun. And I just talked with somebody, this amazing female entrepreneur I met at a conference here a couple weeks ago, and I was telling her about my different things. She's like, fun seems to be a theme for you.
Yes.
Yeah. I've made it a business model.
Right. And again, Mia didn't look at what everybody else was doing and said, oh, boy, I need to do that, too. She said, okay, that's what they're doing.
I did, yeah. I did for a little bit. I did try and fit into squeeze into the wrong suit. That was uncomfortable.
Yeah, and you realized it right away, and you changed your focus, and now you bring a wonderful infotainment to the world. And really, you've honed your craft. You have been consistent, Mia, and I so admire this about you in really diving in, being a guest, having your own show, and being consistent every single week in what you do and how you bring it. I just want to give you a round of applause, only I'm not using my Google effects today, but a round of applause, everybody in the crowd, okay? For our girl.
Like this. Can I tell you real quick about this top real quick before I forget?
Yes,
So I love this. It's very Zsa Zsa Gabor, but I used to find this being drug all over the house because one Mr. Bob Voss, Merry Christmas from Bob Voss, he was obsessed with he was obsessed with anything that had feathers and a beak, and so he thought this with these feathers. I mean, it just used to drive him nuts. I would find him just kicking the crap out of it, dragging it around the house. So I wore it for Bob today.
Right. Oh my gosh, it's so wonderful. I don't know about you guys. Well, of course, we are all huge Mia Voss fans, but hearing your background, Mia, it just shows all this wonderful time, all these different places that you went to create who you are today, and now you bring so many people around the world so much joy. She's sharing Ande-licious advice today, I'm telling you. Anybody who doesn't already know Mia, please go to her website, themiaconnect.com, and subscribe. Go to her YouTube channel, The Mia Connect, and subscribe. The links are right here in the archives and in the event invite. and follow Mia. Who wouldn't want to be part of her Mia-licious conversation all the time?
Delicious.
And Smarty Pants, but also, folks, at the end of the show, every week I have my Afterglow party. Only this week is going to be the Afterglow holiday party. And I'll be posting the link to the green room in the comments section. Please click on it and join us after the show so we can have some up-close, personal, and unrecorded conversation, okay, here on Google Plus with our wonderful guest, Mia. Mia, I'm just going to bring up a few comments. Thankfully, and the comment tracker works properly today. Okay. And we've got a favorite here with Lady Sullivan, reinvention and innovation. Keep life and business fresh. Wow.
That needs to go on a pillow.
That needs to go on the pillow. I love that. And then, of course, one of our favorite Coloradians, Debbie Davis. I ended up in Colorado, too, after I met a boy. I love living here, and I'm glad I met that boy. How sweet is that?
Hi, girlfriend. And I just got to hang out with Debbie Davis last night and drink a glass of wine, Clinkies.
Yay, 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 yay. And then, of course, the branding goddess, Drea. Entrepreneurial lily pad jumping. That's such a true journey. It really, really is. And we need to embrace our lily pads, just saying.
We do. I'm glad you're saying that too, Andy, because I think, and I'm just going to, I'm hope I'm not taking
go.
But, and I'm hoping too is, I think a lot of us entrepreneurs feel a little bit of shame base in it, or some shame feelings of like, oh my gosh, it looks like I can't land on something, and right? I'm wondering if people have gone through that too. Like we're sort of embracing the lily pad as opposed to get your shit together.
I know it. And and I'm always saying you've got to be comfortable hanging out sometimes in unknown, because sometimes things are percolating and they're formulating, and we just can't be like always on the ball, making things happen, knowing and being on purpose, which is a lovely sensation.
Yes.
It can't always be that way. So now let's talk about the topic, which is why it takes years, as evidenced by your wonderful history, which thank you so much for sharing with everybody and being so open about it. Why it takes years to be an overnight success. And I like to bring in the quote, the Churchill quote, because I think that he's absolutely right, that success is going from failure to failure, and no negative energy around that failure. It's a lily pad, really. Staying enthusiastic. What does that quote mean to you? Because you embody the enthusiasm so beautifully, Mia.
Thank you, honey. And you know what I love too? You and I were talking about this in our little pre-green room chat about it, because it's been so fun to sort of chew on it together before we even got on the show. But you're right that it kind of want to take the shame base out of it and just almost say it's switching gears. Yeah. And I think it's really smart. So it's not that you just stay in it and I fail, but it's more of either a shifting or a changing and being completely comfortable with that. Obviously, I've done that a couple times, and you probably heard me say this before too. I think that the upside of the downturn of the economy is that it made it okay for people to have a couple baskets to choose from, and not just go old school and only have one thing, but just say, I'm going to have a couple different things going, a couple of income streams, which is smart now. So, yes. But I love that quote, though. It is really more about staying enthusiastic, shifting when you need to.
Right, and we'll definitely be talking about that. But also, understanding that all your skills are transferable. So what happens, too, in our society is and depending on your age, of course, you feel you have to get locked into one form of your expression. And whether you're an attorney, a doctor, a candlestick maker, whatever, you can shift, and you're going to bring with you a wonderful house filled, and wonderful toolbox filled with amazing skills that are transferable to anything you do, and you can become an expert in whatever industry you want to choose next. So I think I just really wanted to throw that out, and I think, Mia, again, you're a wonderful example of how that works. So thank you for that.
Preach that one, sister. I like it.
Well, we were also talking about what we call the BSO, the bright, shiny object syndrome, and it's so easy online, honest to goodness. People are marketing like crazy out there, and you think, oh, I got to do that, or oh, I've got to do that. That's what's going to bring me my overnight success. I'm going to do a video, and it's going to go viral. Not. And how do we prevent ourselves, or stop ourselves from going after the bright, shiny objects? Any thoughts on that, Mia?
I think it's, again, when you mentioned depending on your age, we're at the age that we remember it before we had such an influx of your feed stream, your home stream. Every 2 seconds, there's a new 10 top ways to do this, such and such from, sources that we really like. And,
Right.
So we remember what it was like before to stay ultra focused and not, it seemed a little one-dimensional. But now, especially if you're someone like us that's sort of always on the move or always wanting to, be open to things, you do have to balance that. I almost call it like you have to adjust your tractor beam of what you attract in. And if you're in this like really innovative mode, you start attracting a lot of people at times that are like, I've got an idea for you, or you read something, and it's especially if it's being shared by someone that you really respect, whether that's a closey or a bestie or somebody that you just know from afar, and you get way too much info, and I've had to sort of adjust I keep thinking of my magnet of I can't be like this orbiting satellite of drawing every crazy floating thing into me, because it dilutes what I'm doing, and it dilutes my message. So I hope that made sense.
Oh my God, that was beautiful. Especially the closey and the bestie. Don't you love me as language? A lot of things that happen for entrepreneurs too is they can feel downtrodden. They can go, oh, I'm just
isolated.
Yeah, and getting, very good point, Mia, getting isolated there. And Mia and I both feel so strongly about this, that you've got to shift. Shift happens. You've got to shift your perception. You've got to shift your awareness. You got to shift or get off the pot. Right, Mia?
You said that yesterday. I'm like, you just channeled the spirit of Mia like a mofo. That was crazy. Good. Mofo's not a swear word, is it?
I don't think so, but I don't care. It's all good.
Yes. It's your show.
But it's, shift is an important part of our journey, folks, and sometimes we are the ones in our own way. So I know you feel strongly about that, Mia, that you need to get out, maybe go to conferences like you do, whatever you need to help you shift. What do you think about that?
Definitely, and I know you're very adept at that as well. You and I had the conversation that the shift that we've been making is combining or doing more of a balance between our online world and then our in real life world. Right, and I know you and Stefan went to a really cool local really cool local event. I feel like I have been doing that too, because you can get a little too one-dimensional.
Right.
Either with online or just here, and I'm definitely working on that for Colorado. There's too many good things here for me to just be, only online.
And you're really great at getting out to the conferences too, and getting exposed to new thought paradigms, new opportunities, etc. So, yes, Mia and I are both encouraging the entrepreneurial adventurers out there, especially those whose business is online, to get out and look out what's going on in your own room, in your own world, and have some belly-to-belly moments with folks. In Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers, many of us have read that. Of course, he had the tipping point, which was so wonderful. But in Outliers, he really talks about the 10,000 hours in. And he also has a quote I'd love to read everybody, which is, if you work hard enough and assert yourself and use your mind and imagination, you can shape the world to your desires. The hard one in there is work hard enough. And, of course, we're not saying you have to work 24/7, 365. It is working smart. But what do you think about that quote, Mia?
I think a great distinction for that is there's the difference between working hard and things being hard. So you can work hard and be having fun.
Right.
So I think we kind of get lost in that, and I certainly came from that world of I've said this before, coming from the Midwest, where I have these super hardworking parents. I come from these total blue collar, my dad had like a bunch of jobs, just making stuff happen, and so that work smarter not harder adage seemed lazy, and I had to get past that. But I love, if you are working smarter, then it's like your content or the work that you're doing is exponential, as opposed to just not working smart and you're just on a treadmill kind of running.
Right, and when you love what you're doing, it just doesn't feel like work. I mean, hours can go by, connections happening, you're serving the world with your gifts. It can go like lightning, right, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, it does. Well, somebody asked me, they're like, how much do you work? I'm like, I'm working all the time, but yet it doesn't always feel like that. And when it starts to feel like that, Andy, don't you feel like that's your gauge? Yeah. When you're like, ooh, I don't like this. No. I don't feel so fresh.
Right.
Not so fresh.
And it's time to go, reinvention time. What am I supposed to do next? Right, Mia?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yay. So I'd like to bring in some more comments because, again, you have the biggest fan group on Google Plus, and we really need to have them heard. But speaking, I just have to bring in Cheryl Locke. Cheryl says, I think some people get stuck because they believe all those crap 10 rules for type posts. There are no rules. You do what you do. You either hit well or screw up, and then you go at it again with that knowledge. What do you say to that?
On the mic. Yeah, I'll just need to throw down the mic and walk off the stage. You know what? I think that's a great thing too, is that you can, you know, and like us, like you're somebody that's in my A team. You know, a lot of the people that are out there are people that I rely on, like, ping, hey, what do you think about this? So I think you can have your core group of, again, the besties, and go with that. But again, you have to make this recipe yourself. You can take, you know, you can take that recipe and just add a pinch more of this or a little bit more of that, but that also comes from being really laser focused clear on what it is you want to do, which is hard, and that's different from the shift, don't you think?
Oh gosh, yeah, absolutely. The laser focus is constantly every day. What am I going to be doing today? What are my goals? And you rewrite them, whatever they are for you.
You're
and
good
it's
about
really
that.
how you get them done. Or,
Yeah.
or as Stepan would say, GSD.
Oh yeah, that's a big one for us. GSD.
So here's Peggy Nolan speaking of that. Practice, practice, practice beats BSO syndrome any day. True story, Peggy. She lives right up the road from me, Mia. You'd love her. And then David Pipe, our darling UK man. I've learned, oh, he's doing a quote. Oh, Peter Cook, yay. I've learned from my mistakes, and I'm sure that I can repeat them exactly. Oh, my gosh. See, that's where you've got to bring in the humor, right? And the gentleness and love for who you are, right, Mia?
Fall flat on my face. Get back up. Yeah, we did it again.
And then here's a wonderful ode to Mia right here that I really want to share with everyone. Regina Woodard. Mia Voss is the reason I know so many entrepreneurs here on Google+. It's always nice to hear about interesting things in the world of business that I'm not getting while at the 9-to-5 job. And rocking the Santa hat.
Hey, girl.
How sweet is she, Mia? Huh? Oh my gosh, I just love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, Mia, we just have a few minutes left. What else would you like to share about what you're working on, what's on the horizon for you, et cetera? Share with folks.
Yay, thank you, honey. I don't know about you. I'm very excited for 2015. I think we've all been saying it. It feels like it's a little bit of it was a lesson learned year. We all tried out a lot, right? Like this dabbling, we tried out different collaborations, different ventures, again, a little bit of lily pad hopping. But I feel like for a lot of people, and I've been talking to a lot of folks specifically on this the last couple weeks, there's going to be a lot of more laser focus, detritus falling away, stuff that didn't work, and now we're gonna hone in on it.
Oh, good. And also, I know that you're doing more work with brands, that you're taking your show and you're monetizing it, you're sharing it with the world in a different way. That's just wonderful. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I am having, I said as a joke on my show about 2 weeks ago that my new 2015 marketing plan is talking to people doing cool shit. Right? Like that's what I do. I'm just going to talk to people doing cool shit all the time. And with that also, I love the fact I love talking about things I love, which is so goofy. But that's why I'm speaking with a lot of brands and saying, hey, what would you like for me? I'm being a brand ambassador for a lot of the stuff that I love, with a focus on eco-friendly, eco-wellness companies, or companies that are making a difference.
Beautiful.
That's
if
fun.
you know any folks who could use someone, because a lot of times those businesses are so hunkered down, they don't look up and they don't know how to take someone like Mia and her audience and her ability. There's one thing about this woman that I know to be true, and what I just love and adore about you, Mia Voss, is your ability to quickly connect one-on-one with folks. It's a likability factor that's so extraordinary. I just want to ask you, have you always been that way, charming, delightful, and delicious? Or did you learn those skills when you were the insurance agent and all the other ways? Or tell us a little bit about that side of you.
I'm just going to hang out with you all day because you say the nicest stuff. I do anyway. Say something pretty. You know what? I was really shy as a kid, so I had to come out of my shell quite a bit. The thing that helped me the most become more aligned was learning that I was a very outgoing introvert. And once I realized that, then my intuitive side came out. So I think that's where it comes through, is when I just have sort of shed the stuff that doesn't work, I can connect with people and be like, ooh, I like this about you. And again, it's talking about stuff I love. So I get so excited when I talk to these people that it's really easy, you know, to, one, connect with them, then two, shout them out, just like you do.
Yeah, well, yeah, but we can all learn from Mia's way of connecting. Seriously, if you need to up your game on building relationships with people, just
Take
watch
a
what she
beta
does.
blocker, do whatever you got to do, party people. Get out.
Get out there. I think this is a wonderful segue into Dave Moore's lovely comment here. It may have taken years for you to be an overnight success, but from our point of view, you were worth the wait. Oh, Dave Moore, come on. You're so amazing.
Look like he gives really good hugs.
Oh, really good hugs. Yes, absolutely. He's one of the funniest people I know online, too. My gosh. Okay, I just got to do a few waves to some folks who stopped by and said they couldn't be here, and that's your Carrie Green and Linda Allen. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you all. Also, I want to share with everybody that we have had such a wonderful time here, and how much I adore Mia, and how much I appreciate her story and her willingness to come here. At the same time, I also appreciate all of you taking the time here live as well as via replay. It just makes my heart sing, and I know Mia just loves the fact that you all showed up as well. And I want to encourage all of you to continue to reach out to each other, take the moments of support and courage when you need it, and when you have extra courage to give, send it out to all the other entrepreneurs out there making it work here. I am in awe and wonder of all of you. And speaking of the entrepreneurial journey, I will be back in the new year, January 6, 2015, and I'm bringing on that day as a guest Jake DeSillis, and he wrote the book Becoming an Entrepreneur. And oh my gosh, Mia, you talk about a guy who went through a lot of lily pads in the same business. He made every single mistake possible, but the idea was great, and you'll love it because it has to do with architecture, and then sold, and he learned, oh my gosh, from every mistake. He talks about it in his book, so it'll be a lot of fun sharing that with everybody, and that, again, is January 6th, 2015. Oh my gosh, Happy New Year, everybody. Be sure to connect with Mia. Go to her website. If you have been following her in Google Plus and you haven't subscribed, you hop right on over there right now and subscribe with our darling, okay? Because she is someone you want to follow. And also, I have in the archives all the links so you can connect with Mia everywhere she glows on social media, which is everywhere. Mia, any last words for everybody?
Real quick, I want to encourage everyone. One of my goals for 2015 is to have 2 speeches ready all the time, one on business and one on personal, and it's TEDx style. So I'm throwing that out to everyone, just to get things ready to go big and get your message out there for sure. And I'm skipping my show this week. Speaking of consistency, I'm going to skip my show for the first time since I ever started the show. I'm going to take off the week for Christmas as a Christmas gift to myself, and I'll be back on Sunday show, January 4th.
Yay! Thank you for taking time out for yourself. Everybody, this is a great time of year. Yes. During the holidays and the dead of summer, take the time off, rejuvenate, and re-inspire yourself for this wonderful entrepreneurial journey. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy holidays. And mwah, 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 I'm wishing you an Andelicious day. Here's Mia.
I'm going to do a big heart for you. That's for you. Bye, you guys. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas.
Yay. And I'm going to go put the link to the green room in the comment section right now. See you soon.